not a drill, this is not a drill. All warriors, mount up. Proceed to nav point Gamma. Rendezvous with Mobile HQ for tactical and situational analysis. Welcome to the MHQ Podcast.
Hey everybody, this is Jose. This is our sixth podcast. We're going to start this off with Ronald Baker talking about a charity auction that he worked on this week or a couple weeks ago and has sent off. And I am going to go mute myself for now. And Ron, take over.
Well, that was kind of a hard send-off, just go mute yourself. Anyways, but yeah, I decided to, I was reached out by Tommy, Silent Sea Raven from Wolfnet Radio to do a unit for Extra Life charity event, which is kind of a charity I've been associated with before and helped out with before. And he just asked if I would paint a unit up for him to auction off for part of a live auction, or silent auction that he's doing. Well, me being the go-getter I am, I decided to do a whole star, and kind of surprising to have a little bit more of a thing for it. So what I basically have done, I've done my Smoke Jaguar Delta Galaxy like I did in the paint bay. As again, that's something new. We're going to start here at the MHQ once a month as well. I'll get a little bit more detail of that here after that, but basically I chose an Ebon Jaguar, a Stormcrow, a Grendel, a Mad Dog, and a Shadowcat. Just a basically very typical Smoke Jaguar star. I did mod out the Ebon Jaguar to the A, so you got the Ultra 20 on there. The Stormcrow is the B configuration, so another Ultra 20. It is a very brutal battle star, medium battle star, and I figured that would be good sales for it. The link for if you guys want to vote, or not vote, but bid for the auction to earn these, or win these mechs. I would be honored if y'all bid. That will be in the description of the show notes. I really enjoy doing this. We plan on doing some more, hopefully, in the near future, because I've talked with Tommy. Just to keep help with that, because like I said, it's a year-long thing for Extra Life charity. It's going to help out St. Jude's Hospital because it's part of the Children's Miracles Network, and I do enjoy doing stuff like that. And I hope to also do more of the paint bay going on. I'm working on the second one right now, which will be Clan Wolf Gamma Galaxy of the Ill Clan, which will be the Tiger Stripe. I am putting the videos together now, and we'll be editing those and hopefully put them up at the end of the month as well, so we'll have once a month of the paint bay. I also want the fans to reach out via our email, MHQPodcast@gmail.com. Give me some feedback, give me some tips. I'm looking at it. I'm just learning to paint myself. Not been learning to paint, but any tips and stuff like that, or any ideas, because this orange right now is just kicking my butt. But I'm getting it done. Just wanted you guys to know, I want you guys to be part of it as well. So if there's a scheme you want me to see try tackle that I have not done, let's have fun with it. We'll see what we can come up with, then we can laugh together and see what mess I can make in the paint bay. That's pretty much all I've got, guys. Thanks for the time on that. It's nothing really special, but like I said, there will be a description in there. Like I said, it's a nice little medium battle star with some heavy hitters in there for you. Back to you, Jose.
Not a problem. Since you hosted the classic session last week.
I was not part of it. I had a family emergency, so I was actually not part of there.
Okay.
So that was Steven took care of that for me, because me and him were working it together, but Steven actually took up at the helms on that because I could not make that.
Okay, so Jonathan, you participated in that, didn't you?
I did not get a chance to participate in the classic. I intended to, and then tripped on a cat on my way out at the door.
Oh, brother. So, Mike, were you there?
Taken out by a mad cat.
No, actually, it appears to have been a quite dangerous weekend, because I ended up pulling my quad playing hopscotch with my niece. So mech warriors going down left and right. Lots of failed pilot checks on Saturday after the event, apparently.
So don't mean to take it out by a Sitco.
Yeah.
I think that's just funny that our two guests today, Jonathan Colton and Michael, both couldn't make it because of self-inflicted injuries.
Did do the Alpha Strike though, right?
Yes, we were both.
So there you go. Well, let's go on the Alpha Strike until we get Bradley back on that, because Bradley did host that. So they can talk about their experience on that until we get Bradley on here for some reason.
Yeah. And we have Steven, who did participate.
Oh, there we go. Now we can go to the classic if we want.
Yeah.
Hey, the gang's all here now.
Okay. So we can talk about both. But since Friday was the Alpha Strike, let's talk about the Alpha Strike event. From what I saw, Bradley had you guys build a 500 point force, of which you would take 350 points PV and fight the battle between you guys, almost like the Wolfnet 350 format, with you only take 200 per game. I wish Bradley was here so he could explain that to everybody. But how did that go for you guys? Jonathan, I'm really interested in hearing about you, because let's see, at the Crucible last year you came in third, and then this year you came in second, so I'm expecting big things out of you.
Well, it was 2 weeks ago, so I should remember. I believe I came in first, didn't I, Michael?
Yeah, you went undefeated over the course of the day, and everybody played everybody. So
yeah, so it was the four of us who showed up. Hopefully, we'll get more next year. But so we decided 3 rounds. Everybody would play everybody. We did. So okay, sorry. Let me go back and describe the format like you were saying. It was basically the Wolfnet 350 format. Just Bradley likes more and bigger units on the board, so he bumped up the point values. We did. Other than that, everything else was the same except Jihad Era, which he told us about the night before the tournament.
Yep, 3060.
So we all had to redo our list last minute. But
yeah, it ended up being a pretty solid event, though. Definitely shout out to the folks over at Nerdcon. Like you said, hoping to get some more folks out for next year.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. I don't think I'd ever met who was it, Patrick? I can't remember his last name.
Yeah, Patrick. Is it Daybolt or DeBolt? Big. Does a lot of tournament organizing for the local bolt action community as well. I see him at a lot of the historic miniature gaming South events as well.
Well, it wasn't Patrick DeBot because he's in North Carolina. I do have a question for the two of you that were there for the Alpha Strike tournament. Did you guys learn anything new in that tournament? Because I'm really hoping that the guys from Wolfnet come down to Tampa or Orlando. I'd go to Orlando for their tournament one of these days and redo it again, because I had a ball playing in that tournament.
I learned I'm way too invested in all my L-Clan fancy toys and have trouble playing with primitive barbarian tech.
All right, so just to back up real fast, what was the 3 missions you guys played and stuff like that in your games?
So we did. So yeah, like I said, we had 3 rounds. So I believe the first one was
opening round was bunkers.
Bunkers.
Oof,
yes.
Bunkers right off the bat, huh?
Yep.
Yeah. Which luckily I brought a bunch of the 3D printed ones, so we all had the nice layout.
Nice. I know
they were wonderful looking. Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. I gotta set those sometimes. That's the elf. So okay, so
yeah.
Bunkers was the first round then. So who played who?
I had Patrick first round.
Okay.
So that ended up being a pretty fun game too.
Right.
I was playing Clan Wolf. So for a Clan Wolf player though, I had a pair of Timberwolves in the list, but it was mostly just Star League Royal mechs, which I found to be pretty funny myself.
Yeah, that's a pretty fun list.
Yeah, I mean it's technically all Clan Wolf. They had it in their tournament, so
yeah. It's there. You had them too.
So yeah, I got matched up against Bradley, and he definitely gave me a run for my money.
Yeah, I heard you got your infantry in the bunkers pretty quick.
Yes, it was all battle armor riding a couple Omni mechs.
Gotcha.
And I got to the side, and I was expecting them to just get crushed, but Bradley got the absolute worst rolls.
He was his tournament dice hated him again, just like an LVO.
Exactly.
Yeah, that seems to be a running theme.
Yeah, he does real good with outside the tournament, and then the dice hate him in the end in the tournaments.
Now, it is interesting to note, Bradley was the only one out of the 4 of us who brought an Intersphere list.
Correct.
And I'm trying to remember, he was Lyran Commonwealth? Or was he Federated?
Federated Sons, more likely.
Yeah.
Federated Sons.
Or FedCom.
Yeah, so he had the infantry, but...
Well, it was Jihad, so it could not been. So it had to be Fed Sons. FedCom was gone by Jihad.
he actually learned something new that game. He tried to do a couple anti-mech attacks on one of my Vipers, but he didn't realize if there's battle armor riding it,
it's +3.
Massive penalty, exactly.
Yeah. And we've just recently with the Itera now, if it's conventional infantry, it's another +3 on that, and +1 for the attack. So it's like a +7.
So yeah, he missed both those rolls.
Yeah.
And I took out his couple of his things in return. And then just next turn, I realized he had moved everything so that he had no line of sight on his own bunker. So I just moved the infantry in place.
Gotcha.
Out of curiosity, Jonathan, what were the two mechs that were the army mechs carrying the infantry forward when you're battling forward?
Well, you know me. One of them had to have been a fire moth.
Right, I agree.
And Ghost Bear, right? So Viper.
Yeah, Ghost Bear. So it was a Viper and a
look at that.
fire moth.
I know my enemies. So did you win that one, Jonathan, or did you with the bunker's destruction?
Yeah,
or?
So actually the bunkers gave me the 4 objective points, which ended up giving me the tournament in the end.
Correct.
I think I ended up winning by 1 objective point more than the Patrick, I believe, came in second.
Okay. And Michael, you played Patrick, you said, for the 300 or 350 tournament.
Correct.
And
so
how'd your bunkers match go?
I ended up having, so my list, my whole roster was a couple of, I have no idea how to pronounce it, but it's like Svatatar or something like that. It was an infantry hover carrier, which I basically just used in case I wanted to carry the 1 unit of battle armor I brought specifically for bunkers. But yeah, so I had 2 of those guys, relatively cheap. You can use them for backstabbing and activation sinks, or you can throw them at the end of the activations when you already know where the main pieces you want going. And then I had a fire moth that was doing the basic thing, sallying out some. I had salamander battle armor. I used Emilio Hernandez, did a great event over at Warforged, and one of the prizes he gave away was just some 3D printed Inner Sphere battle armor. So he used those as my salamanders. We ended up both kind of realizing that we had the ability to rush into each other's bunkers relatively quickly, which sort of resulted in a long-range stalemate where both of us were keeping our light mechs and battle armor as hidden as we could for the first 2 turns and kind of poking away at our assault mechs that we both brought from the back end to try and hold down that anchor and dissuade fire into the bunkers until I think it was turn 3. We both kind of realized that one of us was going to have to make a move. And so I tried to get my fire moth into the center bunker to drop off my battle armor while at the same time dragging over a couple of my hovercraft to try and to at least threaten his bunker as well. And then the idea was once I got my salamanders into my bunker, they could keep them from trying to fire into my bunker and then hopefully hop in the next turn. And unfortunately, he only got it by 1, but I think he managed to kill both of my hovercraft. And then the next turn, my salamanders just got pinned in their bunker and could never make that hop over before the end of the game. We ended up realizing we had like 5 minutes left on the turn. And so we both just took as many angled shots as we could at each other's bunkers. Neither one of us technically got an objective point, and we had to look to make sure that we were doing the victory correctly, because if nobody gets 15 points of damage on a bunker, you don't get an objective point.
Yep.
If nobody gets an objective, neither one of us destroyed a bunker. And so it finally just came down to I did 5 damage to a bunker and he did 7. And so that gave him the victory technically as a nothing objective victory with a 1-point margin of victory. It was funny measuring it out, but at the same time, that's the way that it played out. But, you know, it was a real tight game. It was a real fun game for sure.
Gotcha. So we're going to go on to the next round, which was Capture the Flag, I believe. All right. So, Michael, you want to start off with who you played on this one?
Yeah, so it's unfortunate that he just knocked off because I actually had Bradley for the second round in that, and it ended up being a very good game. So we both kind of went with opposing philosophies. I had an army that really only had 1 assault mech. I can't even remember I brought an Atlas. It was an Atlas C2. I love that thing. Big dumb slab of metal with a bunch of clan tech on it. It's beautiful.
C2 or the new one that was released with the recognition guides?
It's technically, I just used an Atlas, but yeah, it was one of the clan retrofits that's apparently in the Clan Wolf Toman from Jihad era. I literally just went through and, tossed everything I could in there. And I like atlases. I mean, you look at it, it's an atlas. Exactly. But I brought my atlas, and I can't remember if it was my 2 archers or if I think it was my archers, because the idea was that I knew I was going to have my I was going to take all of my fast stuff. So I took the 2 stingers that I brought my 2 hovercraft that could move 20. I brought a Mercury and my Fire Moth, and then I had my Fire Sport to kind of hold down that back line and hopefully keep pressure on the anything that tried to dive in towards the flags. He brought, I believe, 3 or 4 assault mechs and then a heavier 2. And so it really was that idea behind, he's going to slowly pace up. He's going to get to the flags. He's not going to have to worry about as much firepower because he has way more armor than me. But me hopefully getting in there, darting in, grabbing, an objective and pulling it back and really forcing the issue by getting more objective points. It ended up coming out, though, that towards the end of the game, he managed to take out those motive hits when you're running those hovercraft. I had twice. One of them got immobilized. Luckily, it was dropping off the objective when it did so. And then the other one got immobilized as it was grabbing the objective, and I couldn't quite get the atlas or the archer to finish the job bringing it back. And by the end of the game, he had 2 assault mechs that were able to get a hold of the 2 ones. With my composition, like I just mentioned, I could try and force them off the flag, but once they pick it up, I wasn't in a position to really pursue them. I was having to use all my speed assets to try and capture the flag. Right. And so literally on the last turn, I kind of limped out, couldn't get the second flag claim, and he got 2 on the last turn, and that ended up being the deal.
Gotcha. So he kind of basically just did the slow walk up and take it and just walk back then, right?
Yeah, he knew that I was going to have to, like I said, commit all of my fast assets to the objective. And so he didn't have to worry about me sneaking behind him for the high impact shots, which, could have been a different idea I could have gone for. Right. But I literally came a couple of motive hits and maybe 1 or 2 dice away from maybe pulling it off and forcing the tie. But, that's the way the game falls.
Risk we run with lighter, faster units.
Yep.
All right. Jonathan, who'd you play? Patrick, I take it then?
Yeah, so obviously I've gotten paired up against Patrick. He definitely had the faster force. So my plan going into it was try to stop him from getting an early flag until I can get some of my heavier stuff as an anchor in the center. And unfortunately, turn 1, he had a skimmer, I can't remember what mechs he was using, but 2 fast mechs on. So he had units on all 3 flag. And I took out 2 of them. And I missed the 3rd one by 2 structure. So unfortunately, he got that flag. And then it basically became a slugfest. He got the flags on. After he had taken that one back to his base and killed everything I had over there, he got the flag on a Man of War and a Mad Cat. So he was just trying to run them back. I'm like, okay, my only goal here is to try to wipe him out, try to get the objective point that way. And we had so many random hits on each other. I took more engine hits this tournament than I've taken ever before.
Yeah. So some odd dice rolling there, huh?
Yeah. So came down to the last turn. He was trying to claim a 2nd flag. I'm like, okay, I just need to wipe him out. And he survived with a single unit of elementals. I had killed everything else of his force.
So the score then was 3 objectives, or just
no? He got 2 objectives to 0.
Gotcha.
Because he didn't wipe me out and only got 2 flags back. But
it went to time.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely went to time. One more round, I would have been able to wipe him out. But
gotcha. But he still had the win, even though because he had those objectives. Gotcha. All right.
Capture the flag always gives me trouble. I always play it wrong.
It's a tough one, but it's a fun one.
Oh, I agree. That's a tough one. Hey, Michael, what was your score for that 2nd game?
2-1.
2-1. Did you get 2 objectives? He got 1?
No, I got 1 objective. He got 2.
Okay.
Yeah, Yeah, he caught back. He said that Bradley was able with his 2 assaults walk backwards and get 2 flags.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming that game 3 put Michael against Jonathan.
Yep, and that was Headhunter.
Yep. Yes. So,
all right, guys.
Originally, he wanted to do just a stand-up fight, slugfest, but we convinced him Headhunter at least gives you some objective play to go for, while being pretty similar. So,
yeah,
I deployed with basically the same force I used all 3 games. A couple of Ponas, Fire Moth, and an Arcus I had been playing with, just because I have the model and wanted to use it for once.
It's always a good reason to throw a mechanic or something in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think I used my Atlas. My 2 commanders were my archers. I'm going to go ahead and shock you guys with what they spent the whole game doing. And then I can't remember, was it the 2 Timberwolves I brought as well? I think it was an all-mech force, yeah.
No, you brought your Atlas, 2 Timberwolves, 2 Demolishers, and your 2 Archers.
That's it.
And then you put a building down in near your objective zone and just sat there and hid like a coward the entire time.
Yeah, I basically just bet him with those 2 track vehicles to try and crack the deal. Yeah.
Michael, who was your 2 commanders in Headhunter then?
The 2 archers.
2 archers?
Yeah.
Jonathan?
I used the Arcus and the Viper as my...
Okay, so you want one kind of heavy, one kind of fast mobile?
Yeah, I was going for things that could jump and have high TMM so I could...
keep it moving. Kind of like I did that one game I played with you when I did the Fire Moth or something like that, or the Viper. Because I did the Viper once before, the Fire Moth.
Yes.
Not Fire Moth, but the Dragonfly. Yeah, whatever. All right, go ahead, guys. You can continue on, but you're doing the game then. So what was round 1 like?
So...
Yeah, first couple of rounds were... I like he said, I definitely played the coward game. I dropped a building fat right in front of where I thought I was going to put my archers, and then I set up firing angles with the 2 maulers, and I put my Atlas in a pivot position and basically just said, come crack this nut.
Gotcha. So your archers were doing indirect fire, I take it then, from behind the building?
Yep.
Got it.
So as soon as I realized that's what he was going to do, I decided to just basically move up as cautious as I can, try to get a couple good shots in. He had thrown his Atlas out as kind of like bait, so I figured I'll try to just focus that down. Took that down pretty quickly. I think that was dead round 2.
It survived a little long because it was sitting out. It was taking some parting shots, but it didn't really get crammed until turn 3 or 4 when you finished kind of really closing in the gap and closing that noose.
That's right. The first couple turns, I just advanced under cover, so nothing could really shoot.
Yeah. And because I tried to do some pivots to get my maulers in position. They don't have any long-range shooting, so, they could act as spotters, but obviously as a 6-inch tracked vehicle, they're pretty limited in where they could go. But they tried to open up some firing angles. Even if they got immobilized, I knew from where they were, I would try to use them to hold positions. But you managed to do a pretty good job of breaking wide with the 1 speed asset, so I had to hold one of the maulers on the right side of the building I set up, and then that forced him to kind of sit in that position, and then you drove the rest of the attack through the center, bending to the left so that you could kind of force 1 half of the building to be where the attack zone was. And then that was turn 3 or 4. That was the turn where, God, I think basically everything you had direct line of sight on the Atlas and just smoked it in 1 turn.
Yeah, but you hit back pretty hard in return.
He took out something in return, but...
You took my Nova down to 1 health with an engine hit. And you immobilized one of my Eponas out in the middle of nowhere.
That Epona, though, I had to spend the rest of that time, though. I couldn't really focus on it, so it just sat there plinking for the rest of the game.
Oh, it definitely ended. It ended in a pretty good spot.
Yeah.
But I really would have liked it to be able to move.
Wouldn't we all?
Right.
At least you can still use Eponas. I can't anymore. I got some other cool toys.
But yeah, once he managed to get a motive hit and shot the tracks out on one of the maulers, and same thing, it wound up in a position where that wasn't the worst thing in the world. but that still makes it immobile was the big thing. So that was not long for this world after that. And the turn he smoked the Atlas, like you said, I got a couple of decent parting shots. He was able to spot, and my archers did some damage, but at that point the noose was kind of tightening. I'd lost my real big anvil, and he still had like 2 or 3 assault mechs getting ready to pull that corner. And I did as much as I could to back away, but at that point he could get a little bit more aggressive with his commanders, and they were able to kind of add the numbers he needed to the assault.
So considering we're the mobile HQ and we kind of get to go into tactics and stuff like that, was there anything different, Michael, that you would have done different in that battle then, instead of holding up into a little ball?
I definitely think, looking at my list, it was something that favored me the best in terms of my composition, just being able to keep the archers from really being assailed in a headhunter mission. I really kind of focused more on using those maulers to sit back and create a pocket where I was hoping that he would have to egress, and I could create, overlapping fields of fire to have the fire superiority, which I wasn't able to. It makes me wonder if perhaps I would have been better served, because that was about 60 points. If maybe I could have sunk that instead into one of my Timberwolves and had a bit more maneuverability and fire support while kind of giving up that points efficiency. But, at that point then, I think I did a decent job with what I had. I probably shouldn't have been as aggressive with the Atlas. He had put a couple of scratches on it before he was able to get in for the Alpha Strike, but you always want to be super aggressive with the Atlas until you realize how simple it can be to knock off 18 health at short range. And so, definitely some things I could have done differently, but I felt solid with the idea of using the player place terrain to try and force him to come dig me out in a headhunting position.
Gotcha. And Jonathan, anything else that you would have done differently?
So I was definitely a bit worried about overexposing my commanders to an Atlas and 2 Mad Cats. So I kept them out of the fight just I think 1 or 2 turns too long. If I brought them in once I had taken out the Atlas, I think I would have been in a much better position to actually capitalize on my firepower advantage at that point.
Yeah, because I think you managed to knock out one of them, and then the other one was down to like the last couple of points of health, or did you manage to destroy it as well?
So I won that game. I killed one of your archers, and yes, on the last turn I decided to just Alpha Strike your last commander, and he survived with 1 structure.
That's right, yeah. So you would have been able to finish, definitely would have been able to put a bit more pressure on and finish off the job with the second one.
Gotcha. So both commanders were destroyed, but no tokens were picked up.
No, his second commander survived with 1.
With 1 point. So, okay, 1 commander survived, no token picked up. Got it. So you had 1 ejective point then. Yeah,
and in response, his last turn, I think he took my Viper down to 2 destruction.
Right. But again, no destruction, so no ejective point.
No, yeah. I positioned it so it would get its shot, but he couldn't. He didn't have the dice to actually kill it.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
All right. Sounds like it was a lot of fun then. So, Jonathan, you were the big winner then with a total of 8 ejective points. I think I counted up correctly.
I believe 4. No, actually, I think it was only
7.
7.
7? Was it 7?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Oh yeah, because I did get some flag.
Yeah.
8 flag.
Okay, well that's pretty cool then. So congratulations again. You're definitely holding up the group here because you've got the record of most stuff of highest top place.
Yeah,
LVO was the top. LVO was what, 7th?
Yeah, 7th LVO.
Crucible.
3rd at Crucible last year, 2nd this year.
Yeah, and then at Nerdcon now you've taken 1st. So yeah, you're definitely the tournament holder for the group, man.
Yeah, seriously. I made that comment when I interviewed him for my other YouTube channel.
Guys, got any parting thoughts or anything like that? Or you want to say anything? Any thoughts and concerns?
Definitely, like I mentioned earlier, shout out to the organizers of Nerdcon. They put on a solid event. Especially, it was real cool. I went a little bit on Saturday. I wasn't able to stay the whole time, but it was real cool to see the table that they had set up for Classic, as well as the They had a big Warhammer Teams event, so it's, I think, only in its second or third year, but it definitely seems like it's growing.
Second Nerdcon. I hope we can get it growing. I hope we get the BattleTech growing a little bit more.
Yeah, because they had some good prize support for us. You know, we got some good Iron Winds minis. I got some Lightning hovercraft and it was a command tank. I forgot what it was called. The Fury command tank. Very
nice. Yeah, I heard the prize support was pretty insane for the event. So with less people, you guys walked away with quite a bit of good stuff.
Yeah.
So, like I said, it's only the second year for Nerdcon. I know that we're talking to the organizer who reached out to me and Bradley to run events. We're going to try to get a little bit more organized on it and promote it a little bit more on the BattleTech side. So hopefully we'll start growing on the BattleTech side because we do want it to grow since it is a local con and convention.
Yeah.
So we're hoping that we can get that going on that. All right, with the silence, I think we're just going to wrap it up, guys. Yeah. Once again, everyone, I'm Ron Baker, Tsula. Thanks for joining us tonight. We had Jose on here as well. Bradley was on. My special guest, Jonathan and Michael. Thanks for stopping by, everyone. MHQ signing off for the night. We'll see you on the next one, episode 7. Remember, check out Paint Bay episode 2 coming out here soon also. That'll be with Gamma Galaxy. Again, guys, any comments, concerns, please reach out to us. Give us some feedback on MHQPodcast at gmail.com. We look forward to it.